Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. So, already a very busy week. Not really for the reasons most people expected, right? With earnings season still underway, heading into the week, you thought it would be a busy week of headlines concerning earnings. But obviously, uh, unexpected news of tariffs, right? Tweets from Trump, unexpected possible setbacks with the negotiations in the China trade deal have really stolen the spotlight, and it's brought back volatility for the first time in a while. Uh, Monday, Tuesday, some really wide-ranging bars, right? Significant gap down Monday, big reversal, and then another pretty sizable gap down Tuesday, and then a pretty major flush. Today, it's been a little bit quieter. Okay, it's well, at least compared to the last couple of days, right? But what that means is that we're kind of setting up. It's almost like I would say like the eye of the storm, right? We're kind of quiet before another potential big move, and there's really two reasons for that, right? Uh, First off, um, the tariffs, right? So at 12:01 a.m. on Friday morning, these tariffs are supposed to go into effect, and a lot of what people have been saying is that the market has really not um, priced much of this in. Yes, that they started to react to this, but at the same time, people still believe that the deal is going to get done, and they're going to work their way through this. But if the tariffs do get put in place, some people are saying that there could be a pretty significant move lower just in response to that. And looking at the weekly straddle, okay, so the spider weekly straddle that will expire on Friday. It's pricing in a little over 4 points. Okay, so to put that into context, uh, maybe the last time I did a video, or actually maybe the last time we met for our option session, I was talking about spider prices, right? So when we were in like this trend, and even when we were chopping around 280, it was kind of routine to see weekly straddles in like the um, 2.5 point range. Okay, 2 weeks out, maybe like the 3.5 to 4 point range. So a lot of lower priced options, just not anticipating the wide ranging higher volatility bars. Right now, you're seeing a 4 point move priced in just for the remainder of today, which is only about an hour or so, tomorrow and Friday. So essentially, the way to look at it, you got a 4 point priced in move over the next 2 days. Going out to next week, all right. So that's the 17th expiration. They're pricing in about 7.25, so even more. So that's nearly a 3% move. So not exactly 3%, but in that ballpark, a 3% move in the SPY. But next Friday's expiration, that's the 17th of May. All right, so you can see that the prices have really rocketed higher. People are expecting much more significant action just in the very near term, and Friday is probably going to be the most significant catalyst during that stretch, right? Unless they like push back the timeline, and then we'll have to like wait and see what the date is. But for right now, Friday morning is what you're watching. Okay. Technically, what's interesting, I always love to bring up these parallels. Okay, so what's interesting is you can see the move that we've had over the last week, right? Topped out when we finally we ticked below the 8, ticked below the 20 day, and then Friday we gapped back up, right? So this was on the jobs report, gapped back up, reset above both, right? So trends intact, everything's good. We're gonna grind higher. Monday, right? Have a big gap down. What do? We have this huge hammer reversal, and we rally to reclaim the 20 and the 8. And then finally, yesterday, we gapped down and we stayed below and we broke. And now that really aggressive, you can see the really aggressive trend. I mean, we did trade underneath it in March and rallied to reclaim it quickly, right? But other than that, we really have not spent much time underneath the 8 or the 20 this year. And the Qs, if I you want to pull that up, the Qs even less so, right? Very very briefly underneath the 20 day, and popped back above it to reset, right? And then they're even like a more of aggressive pattern. So you want to watch. you want to watch what develops here because the spiders are coming into the 50-day, and under the 50-day, there's a significant air pocket. And if you're saying like this looks like deja vu, well, it is kind of deja vu. So when I scroll out, right, look at what we did. Look at what we did. Basically, like the last time we had a prolonged trend and a period of low volatility, right? It was through the summer of last year into October. What happened? First move when we finally broke. Let's zoom in here. Tell me if this looks familiar, right? First move finally broke. The 8, the 20 had been this really fantastic trending support, right? Finally broke, hit the 50, tried to hold it, right? Tried to hold it, and then boom, just absolutely collapsed through the bottom of it. And then once we lost the 50, we lost the 100 and the 200 in two sessions, right? And that obviously set up just a wild October, November, December. So that's why I'm saying, not only do we have the fundamental headlines, right, with the China news, but now you have this technical setup which is brewing, and that really could contribute to the volatility, right? So you can see how similar like those setups are right now, right? Broke the really important 8 and 20 coming into the 50-day. We haven't quite gotten to it yet, right? But we're getting into that ballpark, and whether or not we hold the 50-day is going to be very, very, very important because underneath that, we do have a little bit of space, right? About 8 points down to the 200-day and the 100-day underneath it, and then like the similarities between October are going to look even more apparent. All right. So if you thought the start of this week was busy, buckle up because it seems like we're likely to have a pretty busy finish as well. So definitely something you want to keep on your radar. I know I focus on spiders a lot, but Qs, Dow, IWM, IWM maybe less so, but like DIA, QQQ, right? Very very similar, and each of those are also pricing in pretty significant moves this week. So I do focus on spiders, but the DIA and the Qs very very similar as well. All right. So let me know what you think. Love to hear from you guys. It's a reasonably busy night. You got some bigger names. Still pretty heavy lineup through the remainder of this week and into next week when we start getting retail reports. So lots to do on top of the volatility creeping back. So just super busy, and just expect a lot of trade ideas coming down the pipe. All right. So have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.